Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 89 of the Force Choke Podcast. Today we have Micah, Sarah. We'll be missing Tim today unless he hops in here, but you also have myself. We are the council. I just wanted to start this podcast off by saying thank you once again to our special guest last episode, Geode. Our team went out and got him a gift that we'll be sending off because we know that Geode is a flaky rock. So we went out and got him some Head and Shoulders extra scalp protection for flaky scalps. We'll be sending that off to Geode today.
You have some for the flaky story he's in too? Oh.
Ooh, bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's kick it off, guys. The first thing we're going to talk about is The Mandalorian Season 3 still happening? The reason I ask that is because Del Rey Books on their Twitter page just said that they canceled the Mandalorian novels. DK Books canceled the Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide. I'm wondering if they just keep putting it on the back burner, that fans will forget that the Mandalorian even happened, and it will give them time to finish not just canceling, but erasing Cara Dune from existence.
Yeah.
Talk to me, guys. What do you think, Micah?
Gina Carano's gone. Cara Dune is gone, more or less. Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka, well, not Ahsoka itself, but her Rosario Dawson is on the fire pit, it seems. What kind of season 3 will we even get at this point? I mean, I feel like that's a legitimate question. I just, like, what kind of season 3 are we going to get? Like, we knew that Cara Dune's role was expanding. Her role was supposed to expand to a new story that's no longer going to happen with Rangers of the Republic. Obviously, you'll probably still have an Ahsoka, but it's just like, if you change so many pieces of this, like, how can you really say, like, this is the same? Mm-hmm. Like, this is an improvement? This is building upon? I don't know. It's just... there will still be a season 3, but is there going to be a season 3 that the fans, and I'll say the fans that cared about season 1 and season 2, is there going to be a season 3 that can still appeal to the fans of the first two?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you feel about it, sir?
I mean, maybe unless they, like, totally regress in the story and they just go back to Mando and Grogu shenanigans. I don't know.
How that's going to happen with Grogu's gone with Luke.
That's true. Oh, crap. That's right.
And Pedro Pascal is making an HBO series, The Last of Us.
Well, then.
I mean, it's the same conversation we had with the conversation we were talking about if Ray Park didn't come back.
Yeah.
For Darth Maul, like,
so that one can be replaced.
Exactly, like, we know Pedro Pascal's voice is the Mandalorian, but we don't know technically who's under that tin hat. So I don't know. I just, there's so many changes going on, and I can't imagine that there's so many changes that is benefiting the story. There's so many changes that I'm sure, like, even if, like, I'm sure Favreau, I'm sure Filoni, they're going to sit there and write a story for the season 3, and then they're like, oh, fuck, we got to change it again?
Yeah.
Like, and how many, the delays and everything, it's just, it seems like such a mess.
Yeah.
And it's
I think that's
disappointing.
where it's disappointing too. You're right, Mike. And I think that's where I'm coming from. It's like some of these things that I'm seeing, that's kind of like, it's kind of overkill, don't you think? That Del Rey Books is saying, we're going to cancel our Mandalorian novel because of all the changes that are happening in the world of the Mandalorian. DK Books, why would you cancel the ultimate visual guide of the Mandalorian? That seems kind of odd because the world is already there. It already exists. What you would do is, in the past, what they would do is put out an ultimate visual guide, and then when more seasons come or more movies come, you add on another volume to that ultimate visual guide. It doesn't make sense to outright cancel an ultimate visual guide unless you've already printed stuff and you want to remove stuff from there. I don't know. It just seems kind of
I thought I heard like I guess the last one that they did, that they stopped printing it and they pulled it from the shelves because of Cara Dune being in there.
that's a possibility, man.
Like I don't, and which is funny because I've been a proponent of digital media. Like, who wants to, when they move, carry around goddamn crates of physical media for like even just movies, right? Or books. Like, it's all digitized now. You can all have it from the easy
Blu-ray.
access of your phone, your tablet, your TV, for your computer or whatever. Like, it just makes sense. But then again, we in the, I guess, the world that we're in, like, it makes sense now to keep these physical forms because it's like you can peddle whatever bullshit you want to, but like I got it right here on this book, like you can't erase something just because you think it benefits you and your organization.
Yeah.
You're not going to take away from what was there. And I think we've kind of broached that idea before where it's like at some point in time, like it doesn't seem all that far-fetched anymore to suggest that with them going in there, erasing her from that one art piece and then putting Ahsoka in his place, and hell, maybe that guy has to do that shit again for Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka. Like, at what point in time how hard would it really be, or how much time needs to pass before they say it's okay, where they essentially just go back and completely remove that character from digital media? Because we've seen them go back with something that has already posted with Game of Thrones. We've even seen it with season 2 of The Mandalorian with the guy with the coffee, or not the coffee cup, but the guy that the pant, what do they call him, the pant leg guy or some shit.
Yeah, the pant leg guy.
Yeah, like, and they went back, and even after it was already posted to Disney Plus, they went back in there and they digitally edited it where he's no longer there.
What do you mean? There was never a guy there, right?
Yes, he was, and I believe in you, Gene Pant dude. I'm a truther.
So I'm curious, what do you think, Sarah? And one of the things I'm going to say before I ask you this question, Sarah, is do you want a season 3 to continue with The Mandalorian in that story?
I mean, I liked it. I loved The Mandalorian. I just...
Okay,
like
so...
how we were talking about, sorry, I don't know where we would go without the characters. And, I mean, maybe they could just do, like, a bunch of cut-to scenes. I don't know. But...
so, I'm gonna offer up this thought to you guys. And I'd like to hear both of y'all's thoughts, but let me get Sarah's first. Lucasfilm has abandoned projects in the past. Clone Wars being one of them. They actually finished Clone Wars, and we watched that, right? They also abandoned Rebels, and there was supposed to be more of Rebels after what the finale was, but they kind of had Filoni just wrap it up right there and be done with it because they wanted him to do different projects. So Rebels was kind of quote unquote abandoned. And most recently, Star Wars Resistance only had 2 seasons. That should have had more seasons as well. That was abandoned. And the only reason I say that is who's going to want to work with a company that bows down to actually embraces hate and fan bullying? it seems like it's going to be very difficult moving forward for some of these actors and actresses to even want to work with these companies. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's going to be difficult for them to, okay. On the projects that they do start, they'll find that work, but there's no long-term guarantee that they're going to be able to work on said projects. But then, I don't know. Micah?
It's an interesting point you bring up, Lewis. I think Kathleen Kennedy and Disney Star Wars is going around still with the notion of you're going to eat whatever we feed you. And I bring that up with the idea is that obviously they've gone a much different direction. Let's just say advancing certain topics and kind of sidetracking from other kind of topics. And so I'd imagine right now it's still like you have the pleasure, you have the honor of working for Star Wars. Yeah. Who wouldn't get it that chance? But we can also go back and Benedict Cumberbatch said there's no way in hell I would play Thrawn. We've seen previous actors who've actually been stars and have had roles in this new Star Wars. Oscar Isaac said he's not going to come back. Who played Poe, just in case anyone didn't catch that. Like, who played Poe Dameron. Unless he said, like, he needed another house or some shit. I don't remember the exact quote. It's hilarious. Yeah. Like, you have plenty of people who have either played in Star Wars and like there's no point for me to return kind of thing, unless maybe you're a legacy role like Mark Hamill. But Mark Hamill didn't really have a part to play in his ending to season 2 of Mandalorian, from my understanding. Like, it was all CGI, but it's just I can't see where, like, I mean, one of the great things about like how the original trilogy began, how for the most part the prequels began, how the sequels began, like they pick characters, or they picked actors that would fit the role very well, but they weren't so well known for the main ones, so they kind of get developed as like, this is Han Solo, this is Luke Skywalker, this is Princess Leia, and now each trilogy you have this new iteration of people where like they kind of were their careers almost grew because of this.
Yeah.
And so that's not to say that you won't find new talent for the future, because it's someone trying to make a name for themselves, especially working for Disney or working for Star Wars. But it just kind of seems to be going away from anyone who's established now. It's like they hear the rumblings. Why the hell would I want to work for an organization like that? Especially if I'm going to give my heart, if I'm going to give, my time into this project, and I could say the wrong goddamn thing or something I said 30 friggin' years ago to no one as a joke, or when I was a stupid adolescent kid, is now going to be heralded in front of the world, in front of the toxic fandom, to cancel what I planned on doing, to cancel the work that I've done. Like, it's just, I don't know, like, what's right, what's not right, but like, there's a lot of bullshit going on, and I think this question was brought up because it's like, could they just end the Mandalorian? We've seen that happen with Resistance, Rebels, Clone Wars. But have they ever done that with their most successful property?
And it would be odd that they would do it, because it was the kickoff to Disney Plus. It was the first thing on Disney Plus that they wanted everybody to watch. And so many people loved it, myself included. The whole team here, I think, really gravitated towards The Mandalorian, as this feels, looks, sounds like Star Wars that we know. And then, all these things happen, whether they're right or they're wrong. You know what I mean? People out there can make their own decision on that. But it seems like it's led us to a point where I think I'm just gonna make a bold statement and say that they're gonna put it on the back burner so much. I think, like I said, this is my personal opinion, not of the whole council, but I think they're gonna put this on the back burner so far that people are just going to be like, well, I guess it got canceled because they're not making any more Mandalorian. I think that's what's going to happen.
And wouldn't it be so hard with the contracts too, though? Well,
no, because
you can get them in a contract for a long time, but if they don't execute it, it's just like whatever.
Yeah, and so I mean, the contract thing can be something different, but I mean, they have so many lawyers that they can put a time frame on it too. You know what I mean? By the year 2025, if the Mandalorian hasn't come back for shooting, this dissolves the contract. You know what I mean? Something like that. So I just think that's what's going to happen, and then people are going to be like, oh, I guess they're not going to make any more Mandalorian, and people get up in arms about it. Like, when are you going to make it? Are you going to finish it? But really, if you think about it, how it ended, couldn't you say that was the end of it?
For season 2, yeah. You really could, Sarah. I mean, that's the shit.
No, I know. And that's
it. It kind of makes sense too, Lewis, like Obi-Wan's coming back for his own series, but we kind of know that to be a one-off. Yeah. Boba Fett's going to come back for a series, but we kind of know that to also be a one-off. Now, if that gets dumped in or integrated with, the continuation of Mandalorian story, because initially there's supposed to be his vision was 7 seasons or 6 seasons or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which, will we see that to fruition? Who knows? But it would kind of make sense, right? Like, it's almost like the NFL right now. Let me get these players to these 1-year contracts. Let me get these actors to these 1-season contracts. Mm-hmm. And if it's so good, okay, here's another season, or here's an extension of the story, but let's call it something else so it looks something different. So if they lose their star actor or actress in this situation, like, okay, no, we never planned on continuing that story. I mean, look at it. Like, it ended just fine. Like, we told the story we wanted to. If we want to explore that in the future, like, we can, but we're not beholden to what you knew as.
Yeah.
Again, we're Star Wars, and you're going to eat what we serve you.
It's interesting, and I want to just interject this and then get Sarah's thoughts on what you just said. Ironically enough, how they ended The Mandalorian was both a cliffhanger and a nice bow.
You're a son of a bitch.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Sarah?
Oh, I thought you were attacking me because we've had this. I know we've had this conversation multiple times, and I thought you're like, here, let me get your comments, Sarah. Micah, here's the knife. Here's.
Oh my god!
I would never do that.
Don't comment yet.
Never.
No.
If I was going to do that, it would be intentional. You'd know about it.
Okay. Well,
we lost Mike.
I know. I mean, I think, even though I don't want it to be, y'all do have a point about it being about season 2 having that closure and possibly being the end, and that's it. But and they do have that leverage to where they could be like, "Oh yeah, we were done. What are you talking about? There's no season 3 of The Mandalorian. We were just dreaming, or we were just speculating, or whatever."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. Well, we'll see what happens with The Mandalorian and our journey with them, whether it continues or it ends. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But
one more thing before we wrap that up. I think it would be kind of foolish if they were to stop. If they allowed cancel culture to stop The Mandalorian, because it was their kind of cash cow on Disney Plus.
That's interesting that you state it that way, Sarah. Are you saying that cancel culture canceled the entire show?
I think that with the amount of leeway that has been had so far, I think it's a possibility.
Oh, that's pretty deep. I hadn't really thought of it that way. Wow.
I thought that's what you were kind of getting at. Like, Disney's been abandoning their projects, right? We know that. They're allowing cancel culture to influence who they choose to hire or continue. Sorry, I'm getting comfortable. If they choose to continue on their projects, if Pedro Pascal were to do something, or if, God forbid, Jon Favreau were to do something, or, you know, who's to say that they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, no, we're done with The Mandalorian, because cancel culture doesn't want it anymore, because somebody did something, or somebody said something that cancel culture didn't like. And I'm just blanketing that. I'm not pointing anybody out specifically.
Why not?
Because, Micah, I'm not you.
Well, that's a bold statement as well. I think you might have something there, Sarah. But yeah, they kind of bow down to that cancel culture in a way, and maybe that affected the whole project. Maybe it was its downfall. All right, well, let's move on. We're going to talk about George Lucas. So I guess a video is resurfacing because it was out.
Circle back to get my opinion.
Oh,
no, ahead, I know your opinion, man.
That's a fair point.
No, talk to us a little bit about cancel culture and why it's dangerous, Micah. Before we hit up George Lucas.
No, I want to hear about Georgie.
Georgie?
Oh my God, it's George Lucas.
George Lucas. A video is resurfacing because it was actually out in October of 2020 that he came out on a YouTube video with his wife, who's a teacher. They were in a classroom setting, just them two, and they were, I guess, pretty much like doing what we're doing via Skype, or they're doing it via YouTube, where George Lucas was with his wife in the classroom. They were taking questions from the kids in the class. Kid asked George Lucas direct question about Star Wars and race relations, etc., etc. The conversation was a really good conversation. If you guys get a chance, or if I get a chance, I'll send it to you guys. It was very brief, but George Lucas in that conversation told the student that he lost control of Star Wars, that he only recognizes the 6 movies that he created as the Star Wars that he knows. So is that a direct shot at Kathleen Kennedy and now the Disney Star Wars? Like, I'm one of the proponents that said there is no George Lucas Star Wars, there is no Disney Star Wars, but it seems like George Lucas himself is calling out there is a Disney Star Wars, because I don't know what the hell that is or what they did with that.
Well, yeah, I think it is. It's interesting because George Lucas was welcome and asked to come on the set of Mandalorian, right? Give his input to Filoni and Favreau and just be there, But he was he wasn't kicked off, but he was pushed away from being on set of Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And he had no means of returning. And I think that really goes to show is like, it furthers on the narrative about there is a true divide at Disney Star Wars. And I think it also kind of goes to show that with some of the past stuff that we've seen, his conversations, like that sit down conversation at the table with Kathleen Kennedy and the interviewer. I'm not sure who hosted that one, but it seems very much of like, it's like, all right, I pass the torch, continue my work. And it's like, all right, you just took the torch, and you threw it off the cliff. Yeah, metaphorically or otherwise. And I think for him to even make that comment is pretty telling. Like, I don't like, if he didn't necessarily agree with the direction, but thought they're doing a good job, he would probably wouldn't say much. Like, oh, that's what they're doing is nice, Mm-hmm. But like, if he's coming out and even saying like, I only recognize my 6 movies as Star Wars, mm-hmm. I think that's pretty telling, especially for the actual creator of this.
Yeah,
to make mention of that.
George Lucas is a pretty smart guy, right? In my opinion. I think the words that he actually used were, like you said, very telling. you know, I lost control of Star Wars at a certain point, is what he said. So it's like, he didn't say, well, I sold Star Wars, so they're still making movies, but let me talk to you about the movies that I made and how we have inclusion and, you know, things of that nature. He just outright said, you know, well, I lost control of Star Wars. The only thing I recognize are the movies that I made as Star Wars. So, Sarah, how do you feel about that statement?
I agree. Sorry, I agree with what y'all said. That it is very, you know, he didn't use that choice of words lightly. I mean, yeah, that he's thought about it, you know, before. Because you know he's been asked that question before, right?
Yeah.
So he's chosen his words wisely, and if that's all he sees, then there's the divide present between Lucas Star Wars and Disney Star Wars.
Do you think that, okay, how salty do y'all think George Lucas is? Like extra salty, medium salt, a little salty, or he's just kind of washed his hands of the salt?
I think, well, there was this interview that we were talking about. It was a while back, but how he kind of seemed to be like washing his hands of Star Wars. Like he had done what he had done, right? And then he was like, "Yep, that's it. I sold it. Not mine. Bye. Done." Mm-hmm. I can't remember when we were talking about that though, but it was like a TMZ video or something.
I think that was about 3 years ago, something like that. Wasn't it? It had to be like at least 3.
Yeah.
You know, I think he still wants to be a part of it because of what Micah said, you know, being part of the Mandalorian. I think he had a lot of input there, to be honest with you. I don't know. It seems like it's a marriage for him that, you know, he just wants to be back in it in a way. I don't know if he ever wanted out of it. I think he just wanted somebody to, like Disney, take over it so he knew the movies would continue. But I think he thought that they were going to let him still have pretty much direct reins over, you know,
like the creativity.
A lot of this. Yeah, creativity part. Well, I don't know.
Should have negotiated that one a little bit better, maybe.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, he's like the grandmaster of salt. Because he still wants to have his part in it, but with the shit that he's not involved with because they don't want him there, he's kind of like, well, you fucked that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so much to the point where he's like, I don't know what you're doing. You can slap that with Star Wars stickers all you want to, but that ain't no Star Wars, man. You know, like, because, and I think he's talking about like where at the point where he lost creative control, because I remember specifically the reports coming out when they were shooting The Force Awakens that he was on set, like he had his own fancy chair, director chair or whatever, where it said George Lucas on the back of it. And he was, you know, like, well, I think things should probably look like this, or I was kind of thinking it should go like that. And they're basically telling him to like, yeah, that's nice. Well, this is our story now. And I know I've even made that in a point, you know, some podcast episodes in the past years ago, whatever, where it's just, I mean, maybe it's because I was a little salty because it had happened, but it's like when he kind of sold the story, and I guess if it's not an obligation in the contract, the negotiation he did for selling it, is that he kind of removed his voice from the project, and that's why I'm like, well, it's not his anymore.
Yeah.
And as we've seen,
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah, and as we've seen, like, I don't think that's what he intended or that was his vision. I think he was tired, like, to take on the brunt of the entire project, but it would still be nice to get his creative voice in there. And when they kind of told him, well, we're going our own direction. They kind of, you know, shoot him away, and it's just kind of like now, like the thing that made Star Wars was him, and you need more of him. But they would never admit that to that, and B, I don't think they even see it as a problem. I think they're going their own direction, even though they know it's upsetting some people, but it's making these other people that are very loud, it's making them happy, which is more important with them. And I think that's also shown that the Disney CEO doesn't want to do anything about who's actually in control of this, how this, you know, this ship, let's call it Star Wars, is, you know, about to capsize because it's losing revenue. It's affecting their Disney Plus platform that isn't just Star Wars, it's many other things that Disney owns. Like, this is causing a huge rift, and they're still like, oh, no, Kathleen Kennedy, she's Lucasfilm control, you know, like, it's insane.
So that being said, I'm going to group these next couple of questions together. I'm going to get you guys kind of, you know, shoot from the hip, you know, just real quick responses.
Boom.
Boom. Lucasfilm warns Rosario Dawson to be careful in the wake of the Gina Carano firing. Bill Burr seems like he's going to go out guns blazing. He's not going to back off. He's going to say whatever the hell he wants to say, and whatever's in his mind is going to come out of his mouth. In the wake of all that, Forbes magazine actually calls out Lucasfilm / Disney for their hypocrisy of firing Gina Carano for her tweets and actually not firing or canceling Pedro Pascal for his tweets. They're calling out that hypocrisy. So talk to me a little bit about that, guys, and then we're going to go into the letter that the email that I sent to Lucasfilm and their public relations department.
Sarah?
Micah?
Sarah? It just kind of goes to show that it's just this whole hypocritical bullshit. They're going to do what they want to. Like, they say they fired Gina Carano because of the last thing she had done, but it's been known that they've been wanting to get rid of her, and they were minimizing her work after she started voicing her opinion. Disney says they want strong, independent women, but once that you have a strong, independent woman that has a message that differs from their own or doesn't tote their own party line, they're like, okay, let's get rid of them. And so it's just, I don't want to say it's typical at this point, but it's typical of the actions that we've seen from really any major company that wants to virtue signal out there. Like, again, they want to promote, and I know I will get the hate comments because I'm a guy making these comments, but they say the Force is female, but they canceled one woman on there for voicing her opinion. They're now saying that they're going to fire another woman for voicing their opinion. So either you're full of shit or you're full of shit. You get to pick.
Yeah.
You know, you
can't be full of horse shit or cow shit.
I prefer bat shit, but okay. But you know what I mean? You can't sit there and have this campaign that, I mean, we've seen the picture of Kathleen Kennedy wearing the shirt amongst, I think there's like writers or something saying the Force is female. And it's like the people that you are essentially getting rid of are, you know, strong, prominent women with opinions. Okay, we don't like when you're a strong, independent woman if you don't like you don't want to parrot what we tell you to parrot or parrot what we think. You know what I mean? It's like it's bananas, man. And so it's just I like I said, I don't know if I want to call it typical, but what we've seen, the actions that we've seen, how they shielded, like we almost have like the same the catalyst, you know, the icing on the cake that got Gina Carano fired is nearly the same thing that Pedro Pascal did, but significantly worse. But since it was on the other side of the fence, that's okay. I just kind of goes to show the hypocrisy. It's like, I mean, I don't even know what to say other than it's fucking stupid.
Well, I know Sarah is a big Bill Burr fan. Talk to me a little bit about Bill Burr and your thoughts on.
I hope he burns it down. Okay, sorry.
Great. Yes. No, I agree. I hope he burns it down. But no, like he's going to say what. Oh my gosh. We've talked about this the past, at least last podcast before we started recording, that he says what he wants. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. He's gonna support Gina Carano, which that's that's good. But he's already independently. He has his own fan base. So if they cancel him, he's like, okay, fine. Like I can really just hear him say, okay.
Cool, I got a free Tuesday night now, bitches.
Oh man.
But
so
I'm glad that somebody's willing to stay true to their convictions, even though
I was very surprised that Forbes magazine actually called them out on the hypocrisy. I was shocked.
That's awesome. Even from a business standpoint too, like making that.
Yeah, exactly.
But not just Micah, you talked about Pedro Pascal, but also the journalist that does the Higher Public show, right? Didn't she kind of?
Oh, Christina Ariel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't she go a little?
Yeah, she hates
off the handle on and
I mean, there's no getting around it. She literally said that.
Yeah. And they're cool with that. She's not canceled yet. She spread hate, even though they're like, hey, we don't hate here. She's like, no, I hate them. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, us too. So it's okay.
So I think that's a great lead-in to the email that I sent to Lucasfilm Public Relations. I sent it on March 15th. Today we're March 19th. I have not gotten a response yet back from them. There's a lot involved in this email, so we're gonna play it this way. I think if you guys can put on your public relations or / human resources hat, I would like for you guys to see if you could possibly answer these questions for me today.
Are you saying using my vast experience of working customer service?
Exactly.
Am I getting paid for this bullshit then? Oh.
So I would really like to hear what your guys and I'll go down the questions. There's a few questions I asked them. I think there's a total of 10 questions that I asked this Lucasfilm Public Relations. But I began it this way. Hello. I'm developing a story on what some fans see as hypocrisy on the part of Lucasfilm and their decision making. Recently, Bob Chapek stated that Disney stands for wholesome values and does not lean left or
bullshit. Sorry.
Lucasfilm is part of the Disney family and in essence follows suit. This has obviously not been the case, as can clearly be seen by most of the public. I have a few questions that I would like to ask that will hopefully open my eyes to Lucasfilm's set of values. As a president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy has yet to speak to Lucasfilm fans about recent events. Okay, so the first question is, why has Kathleen Kennedy been silent/silenced during the Gina Carano abhorrent firing?
She hasn't been silenced. She's been silent because anything she says at this point will either inflame one side or embolden the other or both. And so it's easier just not to comment and let it potentially fall under the rug. Oh, you want me to answer that as public relations?
No, that was actually a good answer. But yes, I would like for one of you guys to answer that as a public relations.
They're gonna say like dumb shit.
Well, I think they've already kind of said it. Like they're not going to they're not going to respond to you.
Nope.
But what kind of dumb shit? It's so illogical thinking too. Like,
or maybe y'all can just comment on the actual question. I know Micah did. I mean, what do you think, Sarah? You know, why has Kathleen Kennedy been silenced during the Gina Carano abhorrent firing?
Yeah, because she's gonna be damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. So, or at least whatever she says is gonna be taken and blown up like crazy. So it's gonna be easier for her and her own PR and all that stuff if she waits it out.
Very good. Okay, I'm gonna have Sarah take this question first, and then we'll hear from Micah. Okay, so
do we really want to hear from you though?
Yes. So remember, Lucasfilm not only is Star Wars under the umbrella of Lucasfilm, but so is like Indiana Jones, the Young Indiana Jones. There's other, intellectual properties that go under the umbrella of Lucasfilm. Mm-hmm. My next question is, where is the leadership to tell the fans that their favorite franchises are or will be doing great things?
Oh my God. See, Mike already has an opinion.
Opinions are like assholes. We all have one.
I know. Because they don't know. They don't know if what they're going to put out is going to be great. They might have ideas, but they're like, oh, everybody's so divided that can anything that they put out really be great to everybody? I don't know. That's my PR kind of view on that.
Micah?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It does matter. Okay.
I think it does matter.
You will be fortunate, consumers, to get any content from Star Wars, from Disney, from Lucasfilm. You will accept what we have. I don't need to inform you that it's going to be good material because you're going to fucking eat my shit sandwich anyway.
Oh my gosh.
I don't need to tell you that it's going to be good, wholesome values because I'm just going to sit there and have on a goddamn slideshow of how I'm going to turn you further into a mindless, non-opinionated zombie, and you're going to fucking enjoy it. Wink. Disney.
The what was her name from the Scarlet Witch? The Agatha.
Oh,
Agatha. Yeah, her wink.
Oh.
Okay, next question. Who wants to take this question first? We'll have Micah. We'll have Micah take this question.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I feel like it's a bull.
So the third question is, I've contacted Disney Plus with no success in asking, why was Gina Carano fired if her tweet was nearly verbatim as in the Auschwitz Memorial?
Repeat the question. He threw me off.
Okay, so this is me. Of course, this is to Lucasfilm, and I let them know. I've contacted Disney Plus with no success in asking, why was Gina Carano fired if her tweet was nearly verbatim as in the Auschwitz Memorial?
I don't feel like they're probably making a lot of comments anyway,
mm-hmm.
Good or bad, even if you hold a position, because what if you email them saying, I agree with everything you did, they don't need to respond to you. If you email them saying, I disagree with everything you did, please explain, they don't need to explain themselves to you because they've already, in their eyes, probably lost you until the next, bit of entertainment comes out. Now, again, I know I've said it multiple times, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what Gina Carano put out. They were just looking for anything that we can just so quickly title as something that's nefarious and say, oh, you're you're advocating for these terrible things, which is not at all what she had did.
Mm.
If anything, she was posing a question to everyone else, like, do you know how this got started? It's a lot more insidious and less agendaized, if that's a word, than you would think. It wasn't just some small power group that came in and did these things. Like, it began with you turning on me, friend to friend, neighbor to neighbor. So, I don't really think there's a good excuse for it. I think they just simply were looking for anything that they could quickly just mark. This is in your permanent record. This is now 2 marks in your permanent record. You are now suspended indefinitely.
Okay, so I'm going to have Sarah take the next question.
Okay.
Why do your employees at Disney Plus not have an answer to the simply stated question above?
Because they don't want to answer.
Case they win
good.
Their job.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
So,
much. They don't want to be on the.
Can you just imagine anyone like-minded amongst people here in this podcast working at Disney and be like, oh, I like working here, but fuck.
I mean,
this is some bullshit.
All right, so I'm going to keep this one with Sarah.
Oh, damn it.
Because
Okay.
she kind of brought it out.
What?
The 5th question. Why will Lucasfilm stand with blatantly racist remarks from writers such as Christina Ariel and the like?
Because her views match their views. I don't know. I don't know. I can't PR answer that one. Yeah, no, I can't PR answer that one. That one's just going to get ignored. Pass.
Pass. All right, we're going to pass.
That's what PR is going to say. Pass.
Please repeat the question.
Mike, what are you thinking? I think it goes back to the hypocrisy thing, right?
It's a hypocrisy, but it's also emboldened by the whole virtue signaling that they're doing. Like, in their eyes, merely for me having this conversation regarding an individual that doesn't match the same skin melanin level as I do would be probably considered some form of hate crime.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly, but it's in today, like, you know, you're immediately branded as this preposterous thing where those words mean nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's so quickly too legit, like, I disagree with what you're saying. Insert expletive label here. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's just like, we found him. He was hiding in his place over here. I think I want to slightly be careful with what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm
just a little bit. I like to paint in broad, vague strokes.
Yes.
But there's the hypocrisy that we were talking about earlier.
Since you want to stick with hypocrisy, I'm going to give you this question again, Sarah.
All right.
I'll go back to Micah.
I'm going to just defer.
He has a lot of circling back to doing right now.
This is the 6th question. Remember, there's 10.
Okay.
At the recent stockholders meeting, it was downvoted to share Disney's political contributions. Is Lucasfilm for or against Disney sharing their political contributions? Please explain why or why not.
That's sketchy. That's very sketchy indeed. Hang on. Am I still answering this as PR or am I just talking?
You can answer it any way you want, Sarah, whether it's PR or your personal.
My personal opinion, that is sketchy, and Lucasfilm is just going with what Disney's gonna do. So Lucasfilm's not gonna question that, because I mean they're under the umbrella, like you said, of Disney. So they're not gonna question there
or over there.
Or over there, no questions. We're just turning blind eyes. But it's like the They're not going to bite the hands that feed them. They're not going to question the mouse.
You get 3 glasses.
Yeah.
3 glasses.
I'm screwed.
That one. There you go.
The British
That's
man
one to
blew his
figure out.
German.
Oh
No, but
my
really,
goodness. I thought that was very telling when I heard that
Mm-hmm.
they
for sure.
downvoted that. Why would
For
you
sure.
downvote that?
Because they don't want to get busted.
Well, I think for a couple of reasons. I think it goes to show that there is no left, no right. Politicians all play the same game with one another.
Mhm.
They probably have spent just enough money with the political leanings. If you look at how they spend their money, whether it's to companies, whether it's to the the Democratic National Convention or the GOP,
Mhm.
they probably spend dollar for dollar for both of them.
Yeah.
They're
Lean a
all
little bit
stay in the good
one way,
graces.
whoever wins.
I mean,
Okay.
one of them is a jackass, and the other one is an elephant.
Yeah.
They say that they're not. They say that they don't agree with one another publicly, right? But they're all politicians. They all play on a different team that we're not a part of.
Yeah.
And I think also too that Disney wouldn't want to comment on whether we spent zero political money or we spent all of our money on political affiliations. Because either way, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
But also too, hey, Lando down. But it's also the same. It's the same reason every time you have a Pride Month, they want to change their logo into looking like this. But as soon as the first day of the next month, that goes away. They want to appeal as if they're this great virtuous company when it serves them best. It's all for the puppet show. It's all for appearance's sake. They could give a shit less about how you feel. It's just simply how they get money from you.
Well, that being said, Micah, you're going to take the next question.
Let's
Question number 7. And
Cancel this shit, mother. Oh,
I think you kind of answered it in a way earlier in the podcast.
probably.
The question is, in October of 2020, George Lucas stated that he lost control of Star Wars at a certain point after he sold rights to Disney. He also included that the 6 films he created were Star Wars that he recognized. Why would Lucasfilm not continue with George Lucas's vision?
Because of it. I mean, I have kind of answered it, but
yeah.
Disney's vision doesn't match what George Lucas had. And George Lucas had an honest to God, brand new, original, wonderful Star Wars opera saga type story. Disney doesn't want that. Disney wants a platform with a huge name, with huge recognition that people will spend stupid amounts of money through merchandising, through buying the movies, through renting the movies, and they also now, it seems like more than ever, want to put out a specific message that they want out.
Mm-hmm.
So it serves no purpose for them to curtail around the original vision when they spent the money and they bought the rights. And if you want to go out there and watch some trashy the original holiday special, if you want to do nothing but that just to simply trash the Star Wars name, they can, and people will still spend money on it.
All right, very good. Sarah? Question number 8.
Question.
Okay.
Is the High Republic considered a parody, or is it truly the new era of Star Wars?
In my opinion,
This is all a joke, folks.
I know.
Totally been.
Psych! No.
I'm gonna buy your material now.
Sadly.
It's all a bad dream.
Sadly. Yeah. Oh God. Sadly, I don't think it's a parody. I want it to be a parody.
All right. Well, I don't think it's a parody either.
I don't think it's a parody either.
Oh, you know it's not a parody, but if it was, I would definitely be buying that shit up.
I know, right?
No.
I was like, because I was able to get. I was telling you, like, I got the digital versions of those books, and I read through the first third of the first one, and I'm like, I can't do this shit anymore, especially with the Gina Carano and the bullshit that they're putting out. It's like I'm not going to invest my time and money on this shit anymore. So I was able to get refunds on those, and get
good.
more high. And I was able to get more Old Republic books on
Good for you.
Audible for it. So
I'm powering I'm powering through the Light of the Jedi still. I'm almost halfway done with it, and I'm glad you got a refund because it has not gotten any better.
I'm sure it hasn't.
I'm
Which
trying
is
to
hilarious
push
because I've seen the
my credit
commentary against it. Like you're not allowed to have an opinion. It's like if I watch a shitty movie and I'm 30 minutes in and I know there's still another hour and 30 minutes.
You're like, I'm done with this bullshit.
I came to watch a good movie. I didn't come to watch, an hour and 45 minutes of bullshit in 15 minutes to hopefully redeem the previous hour and 45.
Yeah.
I think that is such ridiculous opinion. It's such a ridiculous opinion, on my opinion, of thinking that this is bad. If it takes more than half a book to sell me to finish the second half, it's not a good story.
All right,
and
Micah.
That's my opinion.
I'm going to ask you the next question. Question number 9. When will Kathleen Kennedy...
Question number 9! Sorry, go ahead.
When will Kathleen Kennedy speak to the Lucasfilm fans about the state of affairs?
She won't. And I mean, in a way she already has by not speaking. She's putting out her message already. I don't give a shit. I don't need to reassure you. I'm going to do whatever I want to. I obviously have the blessing from the CEO of Disney, Bob Chapek. Is it Bob Chapek?
Yeah, Bob Chapek. Yeah.
Okay. I obviously has his blessing. Like, my job is not up for question. However, the people I control's jobs is up for question. There's no reason for her to do it. I don't think. I think by her message is getting out there by simply her not saying anything. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't feel like she has to defend her points of view because she knows they're bullshit. She knows they're hypocritical. Whatever. Maybe that's my opinion, even though I don't think so because it's factually provable. She doesn't need to say anything, so why?
Yeah. All right, Sarah, you have the last question. Question number 10. How long can Lucasfilm be successful with this kind of leadership?
As long as people keep buying stuff. That's all I got. I don't know.
Just to let you guys know,
you're making the assumption that it's successful still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, success is relative. In their eyes, they're successful because
they came out with new Black Series figures today. They weren't from the High Republic, which we've talked about. I think Sarah, I don't know if you were on that podcast. Were you, Micah? How they should release and have released in the past action figures to new eras in the Star Wars universe or any universe, whether it's He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman, whatever. You start with the toys first, then with the publications, then with the other multimedia. That's how you do it. That's how you do it successfully. How many Star Wars High Republic toys do you see? 0. And how long did they have to put those out? Like 3 years.
They've had
probably more than 3 years. So that being said, you know what got released today? I don't know if you guys know about it, but there was 5 new action figures from the Star Wars Black Series collection that were released today, March 19th. They were all expanded universe characters. 0 High Republic characters.
Well, we just don't have any source material. Fucking stupid. Which ones?
There was a Crimson Guard one that branched off and tried to take over the Empire. I forgot his name. A Luke Skywalker, heir to the Empire, which we all thought what the sequel trilogy was going to be. When Thrawn would have played a big part in that. There was also a man, there was like 5 of them. Those 2 are the ones that really stuck out in my mind.
But this really is all expanded universe.
There was a Darth Maul one also from the expanded universe as well. I remember that one. But ironically enough, No High Republic characters. Don't you think that if people wanted the High Republic, they'd be screaming, "Where's my Avar Chris? Where's my Skier? Where's my, all these characters, Yoda from the High Republic, where, you know what I mean?" And nobody's asking for it.
Well, it just goes to show that this new project may not be successful, but it's being bankrolled off of the things that made it successful.
Yeah.
Right? It's like them getting mad, the High Republic writers and that whole production side of it, mad that the Mandalorian season 2 stole the fire, the success with Luke Skywalker coming back and everything. It hurt their opening for the High Republic, but then it's like they're doubling down on that to still get money for Star Wars, like the company Lucasfilm.
I know these characters are not even canon characters, and they're putting them out.
Exactly. You know yeah. I mean? That's just, again, hypocrisy.
All right. So I ended this email, saying,
"And have a great day and go fuck yourself."
I said,
"Please respond in an orderly fashion."
Thank you for your time and hope you can help me see Lucas's film stance on the questions. Hope to hear from you soon. And MTFBWY.
I think that's what you said that. I was like, they don't know what that means, Lewis. They're not Star Wars fans.
They're going to be like, they're going to have to Google it.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This isn't the days of the weeks. I don't get
it. Oh, my goodness. Good Lord. All right, guys. Well, as a company, you do need revenue to continue bankrolling, like Micah said, future projects. Speaking of that, Rian Johnson is at it again, saying he's still making a Star Wars trilogy. I'm asking, what? Why? Is he trolling us?
Why?
Maybe he's trying to speak that shit into existence.
Oh, yeah. Positive thinking, honey. Positive thinking.
The power of positive thinking, like Sarah said. Possibly, I don't know.
Let the power of virtue signaling compel you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, shit. Hey, wait, Micah, what time is it?
Yeah, it's 12:50.
No, it's time to shit on the High Republic.
Oh, my
God. I didn't think there's a specified time for that. I just kind of do that on a given day.
All the time, anyway.
All right. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, the comic cover for issue number 6 of the High Republic was leaked/revealed. And it's amazingly
stupid.
Wait, amazingly bad.
Oh, okay.
We have Avar Chris riding a full-grown Rancor, fighting the Nihil. Have you seen this picture, sir?
Nope, I'm looking it up right now.
If you go to our Instagram thing, or you can look it up on Google. I kind of mentioned it on our Instagram little chat for the Force Choke podcast that as an artist, it just doesn't look right. How she's sitting on the Rancor. Is she double jointed? Because to be riding a full grown Rancor like that, bareback with no saddle, her legs would have to be spread so far apart.
Oh.
She would be doing the splits on the back of that Rancor. Or she would have to have that leg dislocated and flopped over the other side of the Rancor. I hate to begrudge the artist. They draw what they're told to draw. But somebody sorely missed that on that cover. I don't see how that's even possible for her to be on the Rancor like that.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of looks like she's like off to the side on the shoulder.
Exactly, right? That being said, her other leg would have to be out of socket
Yeah.
for her to be there like that.
I can't believe that you're downplaying this, Lewis. You are a toxic fan, and how dare you?
Is it because she's a woman?
I think that they did this on purpose to get kids and people thinking, how can she spread out her legs that far? I mean, Avar Chris would probably have to have a fans only page. She has to, right?
Stop.
Holy fuck.
Hey, we're shitting on the High Republic. I'm gonna go.
We
there,
are.
Right?
That's a new kind of shit.
I don't know, man. It just so with this, there's some articles out there saying that Avar Chris is a better version of Yoda. I don't know if y'all have read that. She's sensing the dark side.
Somebody drunk when they wrote that?
I know.
The reasons that they brought was Yoda's never ridden a Rancor. They brought up the fact that she's sensing the dark side in some of the other Jedi. She sliced in half one of the Drengir. Yoda never did that. She can telepathically talk to all of the Jedi at once to avoid the tragedy that happened during the Great Disaster. Yoda never did that. So right now they're really pushing that Avar Chris is a far more powerful, far more wise Jedi than Yoda ever could be or ever was. That's my opinion.
Well, Yoda doesn't have to do much because she'll die significantly sooner than Yoda will.
Whew.
Take that shit to the bank, bitch.
Holy moly. I have no issues with a Jedi being more powerful than Yoda. I really don't. You know what I mean? Whatever species they happen to choose to do that, right? But the way they're going about doing it, I don't know. It just seems kind of meh. Okay. I don't know. How are you feeling, Sarah?
Does it count if nobody reads it? Like,
oh, so you're going with the whole if the tree falls in the woods thing.
Yeah.
If nobody reads that Avar Chris did all these great things, did it ever really happen?
Yes, it did, because Lucasfilm told you so. Accept and obey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna go, that we'll leave there, right? It's like whatever.
Yeah.
I got a little bit more into the High Republic, the Light of the Jedi, and they have these space pirates, space Vikings called the Nihil. And they have what's called the Rule of 3. But wait a minute.
What?
They need a fourth person to make the final decision, who's called the Eye. So they have the Rule of 3, but they need 4 people to make a decision. So is it the Rule of 3 or is it the Rule of 4?
Legitimately ripping off every fucking thing for the High Republic?
It's literally called the Rule of 3. But they use 4 people.
Where'd they get that from, I wonder?
Really.
You tell me, Micah. Have you heard that before?
I don't know. If I would have, read any of the source material for Star Wars, I would have stumbled upon the Rule of 2. Wait a minute. What's better than 2? But then 3.
But we need another person
Fucking
to make the final decision.
Explain to me how this is not a fucking parody.
I asked that to Lucasfilm Public Relations. Hopefully, I'll get you that answer. We'll keep waiting.
You know they are not going to answer you. Don't give me that bullshit. They don't care.
I anticipate that they will answer this question within the next probably 2 weeks. I'm going to give them about 2 weeks.
Would you like to make a bet, sir?
I don't want to make a bet, but I do think they're going to answer in a very public relations kind of way. Thank you for your questions. At this time, we're not issuing any statements on et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. May that, we hope you enjoy our products and continue, with the future that Lucasfilm entails. Thank you so much for your time. End of email. That's what I'm expecting. But I think they will end.
How long did you believe in Santa Claus as a child? Now I'm curious.
Oh my goodness. So
they are not going to respond because they don't care. Yeah. As soon as you said one incriminating word against their vision, which is probably the second word in your entire draft. Let's be honest here. They're like, delete. That's assuming they even opened it to begin with.
True. Very true.
Lucasfilm don't give a shit. They just want that green shit.
Speaking of green shit,
we
have a new kind of villain in the Star Wars universe.
Hey, I'm gonna have to bounce
here. Those dark-sided plants, right?
Oh my god.
So right now, what kinds of weapons do we have in the Star Wars universe? Can you guys name some off for me?
Yeah, like turning off the computer because I gotta go.
So, name some off for me, Sarah.
I'm not great at this. Blasters,
lightsabers,
Okie religions.
Got thermal detonators.
The Force, Okie religions. Come on, people.
Yeah, right.
So yes.
You have an arsenal, right? You have the Death Star. Arsenal of all kinds of weapons in the Star Wars universe. We're going to have to add to the Jedi utility belt Scott's Turf Weed Killer.
Oh my god.
They are not a sponsor.
After multiple applications.
Yes. So I guess in the Star Wars universe, we need the Scott's weed killer in the Jedi arsenal in order to kill the Drink Gear.
Yeah, it's fast.
Speaking of things that are green.
Just stop at your local grocery. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to take the hyperspace lane. Oh my god, there's a rock in front of me. I can't stop it. Everyone's dead.
Dead. DE dead. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys one last question about the High Republic, and then we're probably going to wrap up this podcast. I'm going to pose it this way. Very plain and simple. Does sex belong in Star Wars?
Very plain and very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't have Princess Leia or Luke Skywalker without it. Wink.
Sarah?
How much is it? How much?
I mean,
how much is in it?
I know.
What are we talking about? Or is it just
about?
Like went to a room and 2 kids came?
Yeah, brought by a stork or something. I don't know.
I'm not asking for details on the
only reason. It's for children too.
That's true. This is a children's story, according to Freddie PJ.
Also.
These are fucking kids.
No, you know what I mean.
For different fucking kids.
Well, no, teenagers. I don't know. For minors, also minor consumption.
I'm making fun of Freddie Prinze Jr. because I think he's a hack. Oh, sorry.
Oh. But I mean, the actual idea of procreation has to happen, otherwise nothing would be there. But why? Where are we going with this?
So in Claudia Gray's book, Into the Dark, which is a follow-up novel to Light of the Jedi, there's an excerpt in there. And I'm going to give these guys credit. I got it from Clownfish TV off of YouTube. They actually have a picture of this part of the excerpt in the book. So
they have a picture?
Pictures of
this? They took a picture of that portion of the book.
I thought there was
like an illustration. Just
yeah.
I'll send that to you guys later. All right. So this is a board.
A rock and a plant go at it.
This is aboard the vessel that's called the Vessel.
Oh my gosh,
you guys remember that?
Because we're trying to be super original.
So aboard that ship is Affy, who is a co-pilot, Geode, who's the rock navigator, and Leox Gyasi, who is the captain of the ship. So Affy, the co-pilot, this is me reading from the book, shrugged as she double-checked their readings. The wavering blue light of hyperspace glinted off every bit of metal in the cockpit, making it look beautifully electrified. Even Geode sparkled slightly. She said, "You don't have to have sex with somebody to love them. You should know that, if anyone does," her speaking to Geode. "Indeed I do," Geode said, "but other beings seem to value copulation as a form of bonding." Leox then made a face and swore, "Not appropriate, sorry." He meant well, and she knew, but Affy hated it when he treated her like a kid instead of an equal. Fortunately, he didn't do that much. "It's okay. I think I heard of sex once before."
That's cringy and gross.
So let me get this straight. The fake Han Solo, but it's supposed to be Space Cowboy Matthew McConaughey, is the voice of reason here, and The Rock itself is talking about this. Really?
Yes.
With the co-pilot.
And you're really gonna sit there and try to defend this fucking book? You gotta be shitting me.
Oh, you know what? That's sorry.
That's just gross. Like, why? Right about that.
Well, it's kind of gross that it seems like they're making it like they're trying to broach this subject to make it seem like it's okay, especially if it is for the intent of kids.
You're saying it's okay to have sex with a rock like that?
What I'm saying is the fact that people are trying to defend a novel that The Rock is going to start is a navigator because it can see well, it's and super dense, but now it's going to start talking about sex.
Yeah,
a rock.
A rock.
A rock.
I think they should have left that out. Whoever the editor was.
Why? Who decided to put that in? Who thought, like, oh, yep, that's good. Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Isn't this also coming from the same stupid person who held up a fucking live long and prosper sign in that goddamn press conference?
Yes, it is.
Okay, she's a moron. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Plain and simple, Lewis, as you said. She is a moron.
A moron. Okay, you know.
And I would almost go so far as to say anyone who wants to defend this novel for shit like that is also.
I mean, you can have
stupid. Moron's a bit much for you guys.
You can have like a romantic scene in a book. Yeah, okay, but that's just like weird. It's not.
Yes.
It's not. It doesn't. It doesn't blend.
One of these things
doesn't
belong.
Yeah.
One of these things.
And it's the paragraph about sex.
From a rock.
From a rock.
And it seems like it's such a push narrative too. Like it doesn't serve a purpose.
No, it doesn't.
You kind of had to talk about that with Padme and Anakin. You gotta had to.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's not really. I don't think that's really necessarily broached that subject. And the fact that you want to make the subject now and the manner in which you did it, that it doesn't seem to make sense with the context of what they're going through, and that it's coming from a rock.
Yep.
Like tell me your. Never mind. I'm gonna say tell me your secrets, Rock. Oh, you keep your secrets then. Like I don't. It's so fucking stupid. It doesn't even make sense from a literary standpoint.
It doesn't.
Okay, I'm going to flash back to Light of the Jedi because I told you guys that I was reading it and I'm about halfway through, just about. And I found an excerpt in there that kind of, I know, we're almost done.
Yeah, okay.
This is from Chancellor So, the leader of the Republic. She's speaking.
The leader of that
So,
fucking group over there.
yeah, the Starlight Beacon Station will make the Republic more than just a distant ideal, making brief appearances in the Outer Rim when our starships fly through, or we attempt to collect taxes. We will be there with them, helping from Bunduki to Bastion. So the Jedi are out there collecting taxes?
Jesus would not be happy with you.
I was kind of shocked when I read that.
Yeah.
Defenders of peace and justice in the Republic and the galaxy are now fucking bookies?
Yes, apparently.
Give me your fucking money, or I'm gonna
You want
blast you.
protection or not? Sorry.
All right. So I think that's enough of us shitting on the High Republic.
But people are still gonna defend this goddamn book. Books, plural.
I'm going to keep reading it because...
Lest we forget, there's also comic books, and there's also action figures. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, so... Well, guys, I always like to leave on a high note.
Just not the High Republic's high note?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Because it was in the fucking gutter. Oh.
My high note for this time around is that hopefully they begin to bring this expanded universe more and more into canon. Looks like they're starting with these toys, action figures, whatever the case might be. I don't know. That's my high note, I guess, for today.
Doesn't by doing that threaten Kathleen Kennedy?
I think it does.
Because there's no source content for these characters.
Because if these action figures sell well more than any of the other figures, then that goes to show you we want this, and what you gave us was not what we want.
Gotcha.
In my opinion.
I mean, the Black series has done well, hasn't it, so far?
I
There's
don't have the numbers, but
expensive.
they keep going with it, so apparently they're doing well with it. I know a lot of people are excited about it, from what I'm seeing and reading, hearing. I think Micah's gonna get one.
Huh? It's just so, because I think we kind of talked something like about it. It doesn't seem like they're very consistent in the direction they're going. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about this, but we're not going to give you action figures, which is your bread and butter, which is where you're going to make your money. But we're going to give you action figures for something else that we don't want to go forward for. Like, is whoever makes that the decision, the determination, like, are they independent of Kathleen Kennedy's reign? Like,
that's a good question.
I don't get that, or maybe she's just that stupid. I don't understand that play. If it's her trying to legitimize her new story and her new beliefs, I'll call them that. How does making action figures for something that you previously made seem like never existed, how does that benefit you?
Yeah. I don't know. So the question that I have for you, Micah, and I want a yes or no, just for Micah, because Sarah answered it last podcast. Is a Bad Batch going to save us?
Save us as in a Star Wars fan, as in the podcast, or saved Lucasfilm's direction going forward?
I'll let you answer that as you will.
No.
To both?
To everything. It will be
wipe them out.
Just
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could we construe this as us being almost like fans of a sport team, and right now our team is really doing bad, and if they start doing really good, we're like, we're back, baby.
Bears stuff to me right now, you son of a bitch. This look, they plan for the Bad Batch. They spent so much money for it. There's no reason that it wouldn't do it. Because also, I feel like it's probably not just Lucas's film decision, because it's more content to add to original stuff on Disney Plus, which is one of the most important things. Second to that, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to continue with it, right? I feel like if anything, this is just simply a continuation from Clone Wars that Filoni created. We already see that Filoni doesn't necessarily want. I'm not saying he doesn't want to finish, like, continue with his work, but him and Favreau were supposed to be doing Rangers of the New Republic. That whole thing is getting a complete rewrite, a complete change, and they're not going to continue with those projects any further. So, having said that, I don't see how this is anything but a distraction. You can like Bad Batch, but what are you really going to get out of the Bad Batch? And yes, I am one of those people excited for it because we no longer have Clone Wars, but where are you going to go with this? And as we just mentioned earlier in this podcast, how many seasons can you really have of anything? 1, 2? Oh, the person who voiced one of the characters in this new film did something stupid or something that they don't like.
Yes, and then they get canceled.
And then, like, well, we can't change his voice, so just cancel the whole goddamn thing.
Yep.
Everybody's disposable, I guess.
To surmise, the answer is no.
You answered it wrong. It was supposed to be.
I don't know shit. What
No.
Cancel this, bitch.
All right. Well, guys, I still
Lewis
like Star Wars.
Lewis is gonna clip that just right and get me in trouble with the Instagram people.
Like at your heart core, do you still like Star Wars, Micah?
I love Star Wars, but I'm just surprised. How much of that are we really getting, and how much of that are we going to get going forward?
Very well said. How about you, sir?
I still love Star Wars, but I agree with what Micah said.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It does hurt.
It does hurt. All pretty much.
I'm in agreement.
It hurts about Star Wars or agreeing with Micah?
No, agreeing with Micah, of course.
Oh, that hurts.
This unsettling feeling like somebody's watching me.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I got to say, I still love Star Wars. They're doing a lot of things at Lucasfilm that I don't agree with, but I still love it, enjoy it, and still buy some of the stuff from Star Wars. So let's hold on tight.
Because money is no obstacle for you, Lewis.
Yes. The money comes in and it goes out to Lucasfilm as it comes in.
Well, you're a bad fan because I thought you're going to put your money where your mouth is.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Well, guys, we're going to have to wrap this one up. This one was episode 89 of the Force Choke podcast. We'd like to thank everybody for listening, watching, subscribing. Remember, you can find us on iHeartRadio, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all your social medias, as well as Spreaker and Apple Podcasts. So wherever you can find podcasts, you can find us. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe, and all that great stuff. For Micah, Sarah, and Tim, who has the day off today, and myself, Lewis, the council has spoken.
I can't do it. Yeah.